So we did the products. We have pretty much all the CRUD methods we need. We tested a few of them. They seem to be working fine. What I want you to do is do the same thing for the update. And then if you can do that, try to do the same thing for the update point. Just go as far as you can. And then we'll come back, we'll figure them out together. We'll probably move a lot faster on those since it's mostly the same as these were, just different resources. But I want you to try, and then you can reference the ones we just did here as an example of how to do them. Because like I said, it's mostly going to be the same as far as like the type of query you're doing inside of, the intent. It's just the different resources and different relationships that you might run into. But for the most part, it's the same. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and do let's just add the rest of where I left off was I didn't add the rest of the product stuff to the route, so I'm just gonna do that. So I'm just gonna go to routes, or router in my case here. For the get product by one ID, since we do have a product in a database, I'm just gonna say get one product like that. Product in a database, so I can actually test this. I'm gonna go to my Prisma Studio. I'm gonna grab that ID here for this product. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna stop my server, start it again. Yeah, I got my server started here. Gonna go to Thunder Client, and I'm going to make a GET request to API product / that ID. And that should allow me to get a product with that ID. So let's see if this works. If not, we'll have to fix our stuff. So I don't need anything here in the body because we're doing a GET. I'm ignoring it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I should get back this same product down here. And let me just make sure I got my auth. I do. We'll send this request. And I do. I get back the same product there. So our get one product works fine. And just to show you, if I change the 7 to, if I just got rid of the 7, I guess, and sent this, it gets back nothing because there's not a product with that ID. So, okay, so get one works fine. And then we need to do one for, I think delete might have been the last one for this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's delete. So we'll go here and we'll say delete product. So now we have delete product. Going to start. Go back here. I'm gonna do a delete, and the URL is the same. All we did was just change from get to delete, but the URL is the same. We're still doing API / product / this ID. So I want to delete the product with this ID. So I'm going to send that, and voila, we deleted the product with that ID, and it sent back the thing that we deleted. And just to verify, if I try to get this again, it should not come back, and it doesn't, because we deleted it. Right? Okay. That seems to be good. Let's move on to the next ones. So that Thunder client is messing me up so bad. I think it's another app. Okay, so let's do updates. Make a new file. Update TS. There we go. If you're lazy like me, you would have just copied this whole file from product TS, put it in update TS, and just change the things you needed to change. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to confuse anyone in this course, so we'll just keep doing it from scratch. But in reality, that's what I would have did, and now I just want to change the things. But I'm just going to keep it. We're just going to go through these, and then you can ask questions along the way. So let's just write the function names out first. So I'll say, what is this? Oh yeah, get one update equals that. Okay. All right, I'm just going to copy that. We got get one update. We got get updates. We have create update. We have update. That's funny. And then we have delete update. Cool. All 5 of those. Import our Prisma from DB, and let's do it. So to get one update, we need to get the update from prisma.update.find unique. Well, find unique won't work right now until we make a new index, so I'll just say find first for now. So find first where product ID is going to equal to rec.body.product ID, which is what an update should have on it on the input. And if it doesn't, we need to add that. So if I go back to the update, if I want to do an update, wait, which one am I doing? Oh wait, hold on. Oh, this is just get one. I'm sorry, I don't need a product ID. That's for like creating. We're good. Okay, so to get one update, we just need the updates ID. So ID would be, and I guess now we can do find unique. So ID would just be rec.params.id. So then I'll just say res.json data is update. And I don't know why I called it update. It should just be, oh, it is. Oh, that's why I got confused, because the word update, but it's an update. that's I thought I was doing an update. No, it's literally an update. Okay, now that's why I got thrown off there. Naming is important. All right, so we got that. And let's do get updates. So for get updates, we can say updates are await prisma.update.find mini where let's see, we want to get all the updates for, I think that this one's tough because it's like, do you want to get all the updates for the signed in user, which will be spanned across many different products? Or do you want to get all the updates for a certain product? And if so, where did you send that? It's not on the query string, it's not on the URL, is it on the body? So for now, for lack of, this is what I said, this is where REST breaks down, because it's like this probably wouldn't make sense in our UI. I can't think of a place in that app where I would want to see all the updates spread across all different products. I don't think we even have a screen for that in that design, but maybe we'll just make it anyway. This is where sometimes you got to go back and like, yeah, we don't need that. This is a wasted route. It's not serving a purpose. But for now, we'll just get all the updates for the signed in user. But how would that look like? Because updates don't, yes?
But if you thought about doing a composite route, so like you have an update on the context of product, like you just kind of keep building on the URI, is there a reason why we wouldn't do that?
That's a great question. There's no reason why you wouldn't do that. In fact, that's a very common pattern I think people start to do when they start to deviate from REST, is like, let's just like, allow you to add different filters or whatever on the query string where you could just add on and like select this and add that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It gets pretty advanced at that point. I mean, you're basically just creating like your own query language at that point, which is fine if everyone understands it. And I don't think there's a problem with that. The reason I didn't want to do it in the course, because I think, then I had to teach someone a query language. But yeah, that's actually what you would see in production, is what you just described. 9 out of 10 times it's that. It's like, we're just gonna compose this, URL, we're just gonna keep adding to it, and then eventually it might get too big and someone makes another route, or something down that line. But yeah, that's a great point.
When I've encountered that in the past, that's usually what I've done. But I agree that it's like if you have too composed of a resource, it can get kind of confusing in the URI. So probably works maybe 2 or 3 max.
Yeah, it's like, the way that I've seen it is that like, eventually you have to have like, you got to send up how many levels deep you want to go. It's like, all right, we'll default to 2 levels. Anything past that, you got to explicitly send up a number of how many levels you want us to go. But then you got to deal with like cyclic relationships where it's like, a user might own a product and a product might own an update, but an update might belong to a user. And then like when you start going deep, like, how do you know when to stop? You got to detect that cyclic nature. It gets tough with that. But yeah, great point. Exactly. That's one technique on how you can break out of the simplicity of REST. But yeah, so let's say we want to get all the updates for a user. How do we do that? Because an update knows nothing about a user, and a user knows nothing about an update. There's no update on a user. There is no user on an update.
Is the product ID?
Okay, yeah. Common ground. Common ground is a product. A product knows about an update. It also knows about a user. So maybe if we find all the products that belong to a user, we can get all the updates for all those products, and then we get all the updates, right? Cool, let's do that. Or you could come in here and make a whole new schema if you wanted to, and go crazy with it. There's so many ways around this problem, but yeah, yes.
Would that be like a many-to-many relationship? You'd have that joining table?
Yeah, technically, yeah. If this was SQL, you'd be creating a join table of like, this ID of this update points to this ID of this user, and you just have a bunch of those. And then all you have to do is just query that table of like, find all the update IDs that have this user ID associated with it, and you could do that. In fact, there is a way to do that here manually in Prisma, because they do it for you automatically, but you can manually make your own table doing it that way. Okay, but yeah, let's do it that way. So before we get updates, we got to get products. So we can say products are await. And we already did this in the product stuff, right? We already did that over here where we actually like get all the products for the user, but it's not abstracted enough for us to take it because it's responding to requests and stuff. And then that's when you start like getting, well, how about we separate all this stuff out from the whole point of responding and using all of this, and that's like the epitome of like abstracted express, if you ever reach a level where you feel like that's necessary. Most of you are just like a crazy test person that just wants to test everything with dependency injection. You would probably do something like that, but for the most part you don't need all that. But anyway, yeah, so products will just be Prisma dot products dot find many. So I'm going to find all the products where belongs to ID is rec.user.id, like that. And then we want to include the updates true. So there we go. We got the updates on those products. So we got that. And then what we want to do is just only send back the updates. So what we can do is we can say I don't know what that is. We can say res.json data, and then we can say products.map, grab the product, get the grab the, let's just destructure right here. Get the updates. Well, I guess you gotta reduce this, huh? Let's do this on another line. I thought this was gonna be a lot cleaner on one line. It's not. So let's get the updates up here. So updates would be products dot, guess we could just reduce them. And we can say, let's do this. We'll get all updates here. We'll get product here. And we can just basically take the product.updates and merge it into the new one. So we'll just say return a new array of all the updates and all the product.updates, like that. So this will give us the updates, and then we get to say updates. There's better ways to do this. If you have to do this after coming out of a database, you're doing it wrong. To avoid this, this is a telltale sign of like you don't have the appropriate schema set up to get the data that you need. And this is the problem with things like REST. It's just like you're just trying to make it so generic that you end up sacrificing optimal querying because you need the routes to be generic enough. But if you were doing something a little more specific, not REST, then you could tailor this query and the schema to reflect what you need. There's trade-offs, but to avoid something like, because like this is fine, but like, I don't know, what if this was 10,000 and this was 20,000? Like, and then people just hitting your server over and over again. Now you have, 40,000 things stored in memory per request. Your servers aren't that, you just can't put that load on your servers like that constantly. So you typically want to avoid putting things in memory, and you want to find a way for the database to do this for you. It's like, how do I tell the database to do this so it happens on the database side and not my side, right? So that's why I said, typically if you have to do something like this, you probably want to go back and like update your schemas and stuff. But I wanted you to see that, so, because I want you to know that like, you're not going to just write your schemas one time, come in, write these queries and be done. Like you're going to come in, write these queries and you're like, oh, I got to go back. I got to go back and change my schemas because like this isn't right. Or like, oh, wow, I need a new index. Like I got to go back and change my schemas. It's not so perfect every time.